Okay, we're going to apply a little scenery here to this part of the layout. I wanted to do a video of the hump yard, but scenery never got finished or it got trashed, so we're going to redo it. It got dirty and started falling apart, so we have to address one problem right here right away. I want a road to go from here to there. We're going to make it out of styrofoam. Then we're going to make sort of an embankment right here. So first of all, I'm going to do, I want to know how wide to make it. Take the pencil here, about like this, because that's smooth in there. I'll mark a spot here. And how long do I want it? Oh, probably about to here. Once I get this marked, we're going to move over to the hot wire foam factory and cut this piece out. This is our hot wire foam factory tool. It's a piece of nichrome wire, and here's a transformer to run electricity through it. You've got a variable amount of power you can put through it. Usually I start off about halfway. So what I'm going to do, I want to cut this piece of foam out where I drew with a pencil. Now to get a straight line, I simply hold a piece of paper to it. This is cardstock paper. I get a parallel line that matches this parallel line. See how I've got it snagged on the wire already. And you just lightly go against the edge of your paper, get that straight line, and you just feed it as it takes it. If you're pushing too hard, you're bending the wire. You don't want to do that. I'm going to make it about to this point right here where I made my pencil line. Now, to get it out of there, that's a little tricky. I don't want to cut a new line. That could be a little bit. It melts behind the wire a little bit, so it snaps a little bit coming out. I'm going to cut the other direction here. Move my controller. Follow the edge of the paper. Apply gentle pressure. The piece should be ready to come out. There we go. Now we got to determine the slope of the road. I want it to start off kind of flat here, then go down, slope, gentle slope. You want it to end a little bit like a gradual rise. This is going to have to be freehand cut. You never realize how dark it is when you're trying to do something in the corner. I could actually turn this up a little bit and go faster. There's one way to apply styrofoam to your layout, and I don't use glue. Glue takes too long to set. Now we have a slope like this. Okay, we're going to go over and mix up some glue or a plaster and install it to the scene. I'll turn the hot wire off. Test fit my piece of foam there for my ramp. Looks like I want to get it all the way over here. That looks good. There's a little bit of too high right here. I'm just going to take my pocket knife, cut a little of that away. That way I don't have to use so much scenery to finish the grade. Good sharp pocket knife will take a razor thin piece off. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up some plaster here real quick. Just thought of something before I mix that plaster up. I want to avoid any sharp edges on the foam, because I'm going to burn up some scenery against it. And the sharp edge is hard to cover. This is like 200 grit body paper, and it'll sand it very nicely. You just do it very, very lightly. If you press too hard, it'll tear the foam. I'll do a little sand job right here. So I had to trim that. Of course, the paper would be a lot faster. Okay, now I'm going to put this in place there where it belongs. Now I'm going to mix up plaster. This here is plaster of Paris. Find it at the hardware store. and you mix 2 parts plaster. This is a 2/3 cup. 2 parts plaster, 1 part water. And if you measure it out, you'll have better success. Put that away. Now I'll put in the water. We got the water bowls right here. Dip in there and get close to it. Just a whisker more. Okay. Get my spoon. Stir it up. And just let it sit a while so the water can soak in to the plaster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some plaster on the bench work and some plaster on this styrofoam piece. Starting to slowly get in there. You notice right here while that plaster's soaking in, we have a piece of flagstone waiting down this track. Better move it down here more. I'm just going to put ballast around here, some of my favorite sand product, and just do a portion of it so it holds it in place, and then come back and do the rest. Plaster is starting to be a nice creamy texture right now. A little bit lumpy. I always add the plaster into the water. If you put the plaster in the cup first and then add water, it wants to stick to the bottom of the container too much. Hard to get it loose. Now I'm going to put some of the plaster on the styrofoam. Get it a little thick. I want a little too much, because then when I push it down, I want it to squish out some. I work some here on the area here that I want to go up against. There could be loose material here. I want to get that all bonded in with the plaster too. Move this away. Yeah, that yucky plaster, all white, looks terrible. Well, if any of that shows up, we'll take care of that. I want to get it all the way, even a little past if I need to. Make sure it's wide enough. There, I'm gonna just leave this alone, not mess with it. I have a little extra here. I got some holes to fill up here a little bit. Now when this sets up more in the bowl, then it's easier to get in there. There's a crack along here I'm going to fill in. Not perfect bench work. The edges is nothing to brag about either. Okay, I'll let that sit up just a little bit. Then I'm going to fill up them holes there. Oh, there's a hole there too. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to make a mixture of ballast, gravel. My favorite gravel. I'm going to make my favorite mixture of stamp sand. When I was a kid in Michigan, we had the mines there, and all the copper ore rock was run through a stamp mill. So it was about the size of sand. And the colors in that rock, conglomerate rock, a little black, a little gray, a little red. So I'm going to put, let's see, that cup's a little wet. Anyway, I'm going to put about half of this full in there. The other color in there I told you was a gray. And that's my basalt color. Empire Builder, N scale. This is all N scale ballast. And I'll put about a half of that container of that in there. The third color is going to be N scale black cinder. You mix them all together. I only knew 2 kinds of sand when I was a kid. Beach sand and stamp sand. We had stamp sand all over town, at alleys, driveways. They used it to put on the roads in the winter time over the ice. That container was a little wet, so just get it all in there. Now my trusty spoon that I got all full of plaster. Rinse it off. And we're going to stir it up. Could put it in another bag and shake it up. And if it's not mixed too well, I don't care. In fact, I prefer not to mix it up real good. You can see this whole scenery here now is put down, and it wasn't bonded real well. So when it came out of the vacuum, it picked a lot of it up and left lumps all over the place. I'm going to get some of that track ballasted right there too. Even if it covers the ties a little bit, because the ballast, stamp sand, is the only thing going to hold it in place. Now I would probably brush glue on this area before I really get serious about covering it. I want to get this covered. We're just going to do a small area here, just to see what I do. Okay, I'm going to go get me some grass products. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of my green grass, which is jute twine that I've stained with green pigment and turpentine, and you allow it to dry. The turpentine will set the color into the fibers, so you don't get them on your fingers when you work with it later. I'm just going to randomly put some snips here. Most of it will lay down, some will stand up. Try to get one area here real quick, just so you get the concept. Maybe I'll put a little bit right here, because this is going to be where vehicles travel through, so we're just going to put it like off the roadway or right away. I'll just put random clumps. This is my straw grass that I have, and it's done with jute twine, and I use a pigment called raw sienna. I can't, well, stuff that looks like mud, I can't remember. It's from those families of true paint pigments. So this is like our product number 4. The green grass is like product number 5. Okay, just little colonies of grass right now. If you clump it up too much, you can break them up with a toothpick, or I'm using a pellet knife here. That looks good enough. Leave it alone. Now I'm going to add some of my number 7 green grass, which is colored with latex paints and sawdust put together. Not too much of this, just okay. Yeah, so far I've applied my stamp sand mixture, my yellow grass, my green grass, and some of my sawdust grass there. Now I'm going to put a product we call Dead and Alive. It's really a moss that you buy at a craft store. What they call floral moss. They sell it in bags. Here's what it looks like right here. It's been cut up with scissors real small and run through a blender, and then I screen it like with a window screen to keep this piece small. Now it could clump up in places, and the reason I think they're clumped up is I probably mixed in some of my green grass with it. It makes it clumpy. Just push them down. Okay, I have several things on there at one time. Now before I wet it, I want to clean the ballast away from the rails a little bit. I didn't get it very thick there. You know that? I didn't get it very thick. Wish I had it thicker there. Okay. Alright, I started to wet a little bit, then I noticed that the ballast need to be deeper right here, because I want to embed the ties into the stamp sand so it holds the track down. It's been coming loose because I've never done it right the first time around. So now what we have here is wetted water with a few drops of liquid dish detergent in it, and that helps the water flow into the sand particles without bubbling up. Sinks in good. All this is loose right now. And I should fix that right now. Because I have another product. It's my cinder powder. Same as the red cinder ballast. 1010. What I'm going to do is put some of this around that rock to help cement it together, bond it together. Most of it will fall through, and that's okay, but when I'll wash it down, put quite a bit on her because I'm going to wash it down. It's all come loose from not being bonded properly a long time ago. Okay, now I'll wet it down. May come back and do this again. Get this area wetted up and blew some grass away. Get that good and wet. Real wet. Now I have a mixture of carpenter's glue, yellow glue. It's about 2 parts water, 1 part glue. And I use carpenter's glue simply because I do carpentry work around the house. This works just fine. Go ahead and get that glue done. I just put streams on it. Now you can put this in a spray bottle, pump sprayer like I use for the water. That works fine too. You know, if it's wetted properly, this glue will just soak right through and leave a real natural look. Now I'm going to put a lot on here because I don't want this coming loose again. Okay, it's hard to tell what this really looks like when everything's all wet. And it's not the most perfect scenery, but I tell you what, it's better than nothing. So I might want to. Yeah, you can't really mess with it when it's wet. It sticks up. Okay, not much I'm going to do here till this sets up the next day, and then I'll work on that area. I'll probably put some more styrofoam in here to build up the slope a little bit, because I'm going to pour more cinder rock. Just like that. I have a bag of that. That's my number 105. 105. I think that's what it is. Red cinder. 1015, 1005, 1015. Cinder rock. The railroads use that a lot for burning up a place. That's it for this session. It's Phil Anderson from Arizona Rock and Mineral Company.